Okay, I guess we got a few things to talk about for actually getting to the demonstration. So let's see. I think the first thing, actually the main thing, was the whole pick slanting idea as well as the anchoring. So basically, when you're doing the fastest picking, remember to anchor that part of your thumb on the body of the guitar. I guess you could say that's your palm. So say when you are picking fast, you're kind of picking down at an angle, kind of out and away. So don't want to have your pinky anchoring when you're trying to do that. I mean, yeah, you can do it, but too concerned that it would cause you to want to rotate your arm into more of that downward slant. So the difference with the upward and downward slant again. So you got your neutral point of the pick here. So when you tilt the butt of the pick up like that, that's the upward slant. And when you're like down in a palm mute and the butt of the pick is facing down, that's the downward slant. That's the quick version of everything we talked about. I'm not too concerned about what type of slant I do, because I never knew I was doing it anyway until Troy's like, hey, you're doing these things. So I think the reason why I was able to naturally develop this two-way slanting thing is because of doing the metronome practice like a ton and just making sure that the notes sound good. So just allowing your hand to do what it needs to in order to hit the next note. Most important thing. So just remember, when you start to get to the really fast parts or the fast things here, get that anchor point and really use your arm to pick hard and fast. I mean, you don't want to hit it, you're not like trying to hit the strings hard, but there's going to be a bit of force involved. Okay, so here we go with 60 beats. So when I'm starting off, my hand's very floaty because it's just easier to do with this slower tempos. So we got uh, 120. Whoops. Take two. So see, I'm like fairly downward slanty at this point. There's a lot of forearm rotation while I'm playing the chords at this speed. But here's 160, so things will feel a little bit different for me. So a little bit more force having to be used to play that pace. So 200 next. Here I'm going to go into the more anchored position, or the anchored position, because of how fast it is. Man, I keep having like a crick in my neck. God. Yeah. And let's do one more at 240. Okay. I just remembered the other thing I talked about was the thumb picking. I mean, you basically already had the idea. You're just moving that joint like that. And it's really the thumb that feels like the mover. So it's kind of like bending down and then pushing out. So it kind of bends down and then pushes out. So on the string, you start with your thumb flat, bend it down, and extend it out. It's not making a very wide motion, but if you can start doing stuff where you're picking with your thumb more, even if you just do it to a string every now and then, that's a start. Remember, it took me like at least a year to get somewhat comfortable with it. It takes a long time for nearly everybody, it seems. It took me a long time. Okay, so hammer and pull off stuff. I don't think there's anything really special here. I think you know what to do as far as changing hand position when needed. So let's just get to the demonstration. Alright, go. Ooh, that was a bad final note. I think I was thinking while doing that, like the further down I go, the more important it is my thumb position being correct, and I also kind of stick my arm out a little bit here. I do that to eliminate bending my wrist. So like over here, my arm's fairly close to my body, but like going down here, my elbow's sticking out. Like way out here, because if I bend my wrist too often, it's really bad pain. So one of the joys of playing for 2 decades. Okay, here we go. 120. Go. Got the pinch I wanted. 160. Ooh, 200. Fresh new strings are helping get that pinch. And the goal speed of 240. Do it again. Okay. And the alternate picking one. Making sure that everything is just down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. It's that simple. Just gotta pay attention to what the hand's doing and make it go down, up, down, up. So each bar will start with a downstroke, and third and fourth bar will be finishing with a down. Right? Yeah. Yes. If I think of anything else important to say about it, I will bring it up. But here we go at 60 beats a minute. I guess one thing is you don't need to let this note here, you don't need to let it ring out the full 2 beats. You can let it ring out 1 and then get ready for the next bar. So not necessary to hold that thing out as long as possible for those 2 beats. Alright, double time, 120. 60. 200. And 240. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do the fifth fifth thing I gave you today first. So this way it'll help prepare you for that one. So rhythmically you just have 1 and 3. 1 and 3. Down, up, down. Down, up, down. So this one will just be staying at 60 and getting used to the feel of strumming this. And getting used to, technically the strumming you've already done. You did that last week and all throughout the week when you did the 1 and 3, 4, 1 and 3, 4. So now it's just a matter of getting you used to changing the chords on an upstroke. Alright, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 3, 4. 1 and 3. 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 Go. Okay, on to the tough guy now. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 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 done. I guess one little thing to point out here. Technically, when you do the repeat, because there is a rest symbol that starts this, you're not supposed to play anything, like nothing's supposed to ring out. So if you were reading this later on, and you're like, hey, am I supposed to cut that chord off? Nah. Once you hit this F5 chord here at the end, and then you begin your repeat, just let it ring. I'd have to end up writing this thing out all funky looking in order to actually have it repeat perfectly, like perfectly notated. This is just the simple way I do it. It's like, well, it's easier. I'll keep it on one line and not have a bunch of extra bars and whatnot just to have that one chord ring out and show it in the notation. So yeah, have that last F5 here, have it ring out during the repeat instead of making the rest symbol happen like you did at the beginning. So I hope that's not confusing. I'd imagine somebody would hear this and be like, what the hell is he talking about? So if you got questions about that, let me know, or questions about anything. And I will see you next week.